Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to some more F1 Manager 2022 and another part of our Aston Martin career mode. Today we have the third race of the season in Australia. It's been a mixed start to the season with a fantastic performance in Bahrain where we absolutely dominated the race and took home the 1-2. But last time out, although we qualified in those positions 1 and 2 again, a strategy mishap meant that we got caught in traffic halfway through the race and we really did not manage to bring that gap back, meaning we finished in 4th and 6th, meaning that the championship is definitely on at the moment. We are still leading the Constructors' Championship, but in the drivers, Fernando Alonso on 34 points and Pierre Gasly on 31. Max Verstappen currently leading the way on 35, ahead of Carlos Sainz on 33, Charles Leclerc not too far behind on 27. So, thank you for the support so far on Season 3. Make sure you keep hitting the like button down below if you are enjoying. And, of course, subscribe for plenty more F1 Manager content. First things first, we've got a development point for Pierre Gasly. We are going to put that into his reactions and hopefully up his pace just a little bit. Into the staff, don't think they have any, but I do think, yes, Piastri does have one. So let's up his smoothness by 1. Hoping to get him into an 80 rated driver very, very soon. A few people were saying that, why don't you go and get Yuki Tsunoda as your reserve? And we could well do that, but, you know, 23 years old, he's the same age as Oscar Piastri, so, you know, Piastri slightly younger. So really there's not much to go for there. His growth potential is only average, whereas Piastri's growth potential is high. So I think overall Piastri is a better option than Yuki Tsunoda. But yeah, you know, definitely keep the suggestions coming. We have our manufacturing of the underfloor complete and the design complete for our new chassis. We also have some scouting coming through as well in this episode. Another sponsorship obligation before the design comes through for our new suspension by the time of the Australian Grand Prix. Now, I do believe that we are going to have to make sure... well, there you go, Car 2 didn't have the updated rear wing on it. I think pretty much every other of our ventures is on the car. Rear wing is... Side pods are. Oh, for goodness sake, where am I? There we go. Underfloor, yep. And the suspension is as well. Of course, we have got that development coming through very, very soon. Or the new design, I should say. So let's continue on. We have the manufacturing complete there. A difficult race, according to Patrick Stafford, and that was 4th and 6th. So I think we are for a real tough challenge this season. We are going to be expected to pretty much win every single race out there, and that's not going to be easy. It certainly isn't. So yeah, going to have to make sure we are on it. Yeah, we're going to rush these developments, try and get them all in place pretty quickly, although should we just do 2 emergency ones and then manufacture 2 more normally, and then we'll get our new ones on the car. Perfect. So already making some progress. Let's get another design going. So we've got an underfloor and suspension coming. Let's get another new front wing in the works. Although, to be fair, why don't we do side pods while we've got none of that to utilise? We can put a bit more focus on our engine cooling and airflow, maybe a little bit less on our drag reduction. Yeah, that looks alright. Yeah, that's okay. So that'll be done in 32 days, just before the new ATR period comes into force. So let's see. Right, front wing manufactured, perfect. And Simona Resta, 21 months left on his contract. Logan Sargent, 33 months on his. Sergio Perez, of course, 9 months left on his contract. What is he currently on? £14 million. Not a chance we'd want him. And to be fair, he's not been very good, if we're entirely honest. Low stock of the underfloor, apparently. I'm assuming it's all in order. Right, so suspension design is complete. Are they still happy with me? Yes, they are at the moment. But I do think that we could well be in a lot of trouble very, very soon. You can see already we're starting to lag behind in the development race. So, yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? We're going to get 2 emergency suspensions and then manufacture 2 more normally. We'll get them on the car as well. And that hopefully, we can see, not too bad. It's definitely impacted us positively. So, got to be happy with that. Nice. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Right. Let's get ourselves into the race then. Set some performance targets. Let's say we'll get both cars into the top 5. And we will say both drivers will reach Q2, of course. We will also say we'll get fastest lap. And we'll get into the race without any further ado. So let's enjoy the Australian Grand Prix.
Welcome to Melbourne for a weekend of fierce competition. We're a stone's throw from the beach here at the Albert Park circuit. It might be party mood in the grandstands, but in the paddock, expectations and tensions are high. The Albert Park circuit is bursting with rapid corners and a long straight where drivers can push their speed to the limit. Good attention to medium speed downforce will likely make beating this beast of a track just a little bit easier. At this early stage in the season, there are still plenty of opportunities for things to change. In this sport, there simply are no guarantees. Okay then, let's get to it.
Okay then, looks like a clear weekend of weather, so I'll get on with practice and I'll catch you before qualifying. Well, there you go then. At the end of FP3, Pierre Gasly leading the way, Fernando Alonso in P2. It looks like we have got a car that we can definitely do a great job with. Now, Fernando Alonso's setup confidence not quite there, simply because we've made a change. So it'll be interesting to see the impact that has, particularly on Q1. But by the time we get to Q2, he should have his confidence set up at its highest. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're looking at with that. I mean, 96%, that's pretty damn good. It's whether we just revert back to that. But yeah, not entirely sure. No, we'll simulate session 1 and we'll see how we get on. So here we go. Let's see. And there you go. Pierre Gasly 4th, Fernando Alonso 5th. Any shocks in Q1? Not particularly. So let's get ourselves into Q2. And there you go, 98% now for Fernando Alonso. So we're going to use the used tyres and give ourselves 2 fresh runs in Q3. So here we go. So we need to think about when we come out here.
Radio check, okay. Radio check, okay.
So we just need to wait until this lot essentially have come in. That's when there'll be the least amount of traffic out there. So I'm going to send Fernando out now. And then Pierre. So let's hop on board with Fernando Alonso, the world champion. Of course, the pole sitter in Saudi Arabia. I've had a couple of upgrades onto the car. Let's see how we compare with the other guys out there. Currently, it's Sergio Perez leading the way, which is a bit of a surprise, but Alonso comes through. Green first sector. Not expecting purples. But if we can get up into the top 4, that'll truly be enough to get through. 1:17.6 it is from Sergio Perez, which is very impressive. So 2 green sectors from Fernando. And here we come then, around the final couple of corners. Where can he get to with this? He flies round now, he comes up to the line. It's going to be in the 17s, and it's a 17.6, which is enough to go fastest. No purple sectors, but overall, very much fast enough to take fastest qualifier off Sergio Perez in Q2. Now here comes Pierre Gasly. Can he get any quicker? DRS open, and he flies up to the line now, into the 16s, into the 17s, and it's a 1:17.5, which is very much enough to not only go quickest, but definitely get through to Q3, you would feel. So Zhou Guanyu is going to be the first one through, then Charles Leclerc. And let's keep an eye on everybody. So Zhou Guanyu is going to be through first. Comes over the line, goes 4th. Leclerc goes quickest. Russell goes 2nd. This track is ramping up quite a bit here. Hamilton comes through. Where's Hamilton going to go? He goes 2nd. What about Perez? Perez comes through. He goes top. What about Verstappen? He goes top. Now Sainz comes through. And Sainz goes 3rd. We've only got 2 more positions. Buffer here. Vettel goes above us. What about Ocon? No, Ocon doesn't improve, and I don't think anybody else out there has got the time. And wow, I mean, wow, how the track ramped up there in terms of its grip. That was quite ridiculous, really. The time seemed to shred off towards the end there, and wow, that was looking leery for a second there. But it is Pierre Gasly and Fernando Alonso. They managed to get through in the end, but only by the skin of their teeth. That would have been a bit of an embarrassment, to say the least there. We have got 2 brand new sets of soft tyres to use in Q3, although I am tempted to maybe do our first timed lap on the used tyres, just so that we've got a fresh set for tomorrow. So let's get into Q3. We'll get our banter time in there straight away. Try and get Alonso out there before the Mercedes. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. There goes Fernando Alonso. Pierre Gasly following. So we'll see what sort of time they put in first. I'm not expecting this to be the ultimate time. And there you go, Alonso goes 2nd, Gasly 4th, and well, as banker times go, that's probably alright, 7th and 8th. We'll settle for that. And as I say, it does give us a fresh set of softs for tomorrow, which gives us a little bit of a strategic advantage. We know how powerful new tyres are since the 1.8 patch. I don't think everybody's gone out there, have they? Oh, of course they have. It's just we're the final 2. I was counting to 10 and only counting to 8. So Carlos Sainz is going to be the man on a mission here now. He's going to catch up to Pierre Gasly here, which is a bit of a problem for his fastest lap. It's going to be a problem for Sainz's fastest lap as well, because Carlos Sainz now starting his lap. Here comes Fernando Alonso. He's starting his lap. Is Pierre Gasly going to get out of the way? He does get out of the way. He hasn't got DRS open. That's going to be a problem for his lap now. So I don't think Pierre Gasly is going to be on pole position today, put it that way. But let's hop on board with Fernando Alonso. What can he do? That was a bizarre situation. Carlos Sainz has gone quickest at the moment. What about Hamilton? He doesn't manage anything. What about Russell? No. So people aren't improving. Alonso's gone green in the first sector. You'd imagine through the middle sector, Alonso's going to be even quicker here on his brand new tyres. How close can Alonso get? I feel like Gasly isn't going to manage it here. He's probably not going to improve. Having to slow for Sainz, a real issue there. Nobody has improved on their final lap here. And now Fernando Alonso is going to be the first man over the line. Here we go, Fernando Alonso up to the finish now. Needs to be in the late 16s if he wants pole. It's a 17.1, which puts him third, 4 hundredths of a second off. Pierre Gasly comes over the line. It's a 17.6, which isn't even an improvement on his previous lap. That is how much his lap was destroyed by Carlos Sainz, and it's going to be 3rd and 8th for us in qualifying. That is not going to be enough, really, for what we expected going into the Grand Prix tomorrow.
It's race day, with the teams and drivers ready and raring to go.
There was some good work from Aston Martin during the qualifying session, and they will go to the grid full of confidence. These past few days, Ferrari have been absolutely thrilling their fans. Now let's see if they can make the Tifosi proud by capitalizing on that grid position. We've been having sunny weather here today, but there are some clouds looming that might complicate things for teams further down the line.
Exciting choices lie ahead then for the teams and their drivers here in Melbourne. So let's see what happens.
Right then, it's race day. It's going to be exciting. We've got brand new sets of soft tyres for both drivers, but wasn't worth it in the end, was it, really? This is definitely an interesting proposition. I'm not sure the brand new soft tyres are going to... No, they're certainly not going to last. So, what on earth have I done here? Why can't I get onto the mediums? I mean, in one stop, that's pretty slow, isn't it? I think medium, hard, medium looks good to me for Pierre Gasly. Do we try something a bit different with Fernando? Maybe go medium, medium, hards. This is so annoying. What? Why? This is so annoying. Alright, yeah, well, it doesn't look like we can do that, so... I mean, do we... Is it because we don't have two... Ah, we only have one set of mediums, so actually... Pierre Gasly's not going to be able to do that strategy. Huh. This is a bit of a problem. I think Pierre's going to have to start on the... I think Pierre's going to have to start on the soft tyres here. Yeah. I think that's what he's going to have to do. Well, it is what it is. I mean, Alonso's going to have to do the same. I think we've completely messed up here. I don't understand what's going on. Let's end the race on softs with Nando. Let's do it that way around. Right then. Here we go. Let's get into it. It's going to be tricky. That's for sure. A little bit of extra fuel in the car. Overtake from the start. And here we go.
The drivers there lined up on the grid under mostly sunny skies. Looking at Fernando Alonso here. Starting in third place, they're in a really good position for this race. Next for the team, it's Pierre Gasly. Not as close to the front as they might have wished for, but we know the race order can change a lot during those first few corners. Will their hard work pay off today? Brace yourselves for the Australian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
So we are underway here in Australia. Carlos Sainz off to a decent start ahead of Sergio Perez. Can Fernando Alonso get involved? For P3, it doesn't look like it. Pierre Gasly, meanwhile, has lost out to George Russell at turn 1, but he'll be looking to make that move back straight away here on those soft tyres. I suppose that could be...
Simply lovely. Come on, mate.
That could be the silver lining in the cloud. Is that Gasly's on soft tyres, brand new soft tyres, so should be able to make an impact on the field at the start of the race and get back to where he should be. So let's hop on board with Pierre Gasly. He's closing in on Sebastian Vettel.
Aston Martin with a great
At the start of this Grand Prix, is he going to be able to go down the inside here? No, doesn't have a look at this stage of the race. Now he pulls to the inside. This could be a chance. Certainly would be if DRS was enabled. He's going to have a look around the outside, though, of Sebastian Vettel. This is a big move for Pierre Gasly, and he is through. Fantastic for him. Really, really happy for Pierre there.
Yeah, you passed.
And now he's got Max Verstappen in his sights, and he'll be having a look down into turn 1 here. This is a great start for Pierre, up to P7.
Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
After starting P8, obviously dropped down to P9 behind George Russell near the start of this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso definitely looking racy behind Sergio Perez. Let's look at the tyres everybody's gone for. So almost everyone has gone mediums except Bottas, Ocon and Pierre Gasly. I think there's going to be some pretty worn tyres by the end of this race. But it's difficult to know what new tyres other teams have out there. No. Fernando closing in on Perez. What about Gasly on Charles Leclerc? This is on Max Verstappen. This is going to be an early chance, you would feel. Let's hop on board with him. Needs to use that overtake. Needs to try and get down the inside of Max Verstappen here. No luck this time. Actually going to drop it back down to neutral here. So we can do a little bit more naturally here. Now closing right in on Max Verstappen. And that's the fastest lap of the race as well. Can Alonso have a look at Perez? Don't think so. So I'm going to go neutral now. Carlos Sainz leading the way and looking good at the front. We've then got Perez second, Alonso third, Leclerc fourth, Hamilton fifth, Verstappen sixth, and Pierre Gasly following him very, very closely behind in seventh here. He'll be looking to make an impact with the DRS very, very shortly. Is Perez going to drop more than a second behind Sainz? Because if he does, then he's going to be in a big amount of trouble here. Nope, DRS enabled for Perez. DRS enabled for Alonso as well. Could have a little look around the outside here, Fernando. Oh, not quite. Well out. Broken there by Perez. Perez, meanwhile, has closed in on Sainz. This is going to be an early look for Sergio Perez for the lead of this Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz can't do anything about that. Can Fernando Alonso have a slice of the pie as well? Not quite. No DRS for Sainz down towards turn 4. So Fernando Alonso flies past him as well. His good friend from Spain.
This garage has just gone bent.
So Fernando Alonso up to second place, and now he's chasing after race leader Sergio Perez. What a start to this Grand Prix for both drivers. Gasly is going to be stuck in a little bit of a DRS train here, so it's whether we go light, try and look after those soft tyres.
Back it out, back it out.
Yeah.
And see what we can do here. So, Fernando Alonso chasing after Sergio Perez. Can he now have a chance at taking the lead of this Grand Prix? Pulls to the outside. Is he going to pull to the inside here? No, he doesn't. But he's going to give himself a chance of double DRS down the main straight. And after turn 1, all the way up into turn 3. He's holding off Carlos Sainz beautifully here. Very good stuff from Fernando Alonso. And now, staying with the action. It's all going to be about where Perez places his car.
Just do what you can.
Well, Sainz manages to get back past, so Alonso again going to be in a tricky situation here.
Ferrari,
DRS enabled, should be able to get past Perez. Goodness me, Leclerc's there as well. Oh ho ho, down the inside, Alonso goes and stays in front of Perez. Needs to try and keep that position this time.
Aston Martin with a great play there.
Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly still in P7. I think just looking after his tyres is going to be the best play here. He's got a decent gap to Russell behind. Staying with Max Verstappen. Probably going to be what's best for him this Grand Prix. So here we go again with DRS. Here goes Fernando Alonso now, having a potential look at Carlos Sainz. Was maybe thinking about the outside as Hamilton goes down the inside of Charles Leclerc. Doesn't get the move done. Can Alonso stay close to Carlos Sainz here? Looks like he can. You can see Gasly clinging on to the back of that group. Can he maybe conserve his tyres?
Just
go for it.
Tyre set though. Look after it.
Copy.
And now Fernando Alonso leads the Grand Prix.
Really well executed.
I'm going to try and deploy the ERS.
Looks like Aston Martin have just
Try and
gained
get
the
more
race
than a second
position.
ahead so that we don't lose that position straight away here. This looks pretty tasty straight away from Fernando. Excellent first sector this Grand Prix. Of this lap, fastest first sector. And now drops down into neutral. We'll be hoping to keep this position ahead of Carlos Sainz. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly trying to stay with Max Verstappen. Obviously going to have DRS here. We'll keep an eye on the gap. longer he can keep this stint going, the better. You can see he's very, very close.
What a lap, man.
There we go, Fernando Alonso with the fastest lap of this Grand Prix, a 1:22.9. Perez within a second here is going to have DRS. It's going to close in a little bit. Perez manages to get right back within Fernando here. So time to zoom it forward a little bit. Keep an eye on Gasly's gap. Needs to stay within a second. Otherwise it's trouble. But if he can look after those tyres, that's going to be crucial. So Perez is retaking the lead of this Grand Prix. I think time now for Fernando to look after
Red
his
Bull
tyres.
gained a place.
I'm going to try and outfox the other guys in terms of strategy here, as Fernando now leads this Grand Prix. He's going light again here. Let's just have a look at tyres from everybody. Alonso's are okay. Gasly's are of course going to be the worst of anybody. But the longer he can keep his tyres intact, the better. And if we can go maybe 2 or 3 more laps on these tyres, it is going to massively benefit his race. So I'm going to go back to standard now.
So pick up the pace. Pick up the pace.
And he should be able to just glide up to the back of Hamilton. That's exactly what he does. So
Red Bull moved
So
up.
Perez leads this Grand Prix. Alonso is in second, side by side with Leclerc in third place. I don't think they're just going to be trading those positions lap after lap here.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
Tyre-wise, Fernando looking after them well. And Fernando retakes the lead of the Grand Prix here. And Gasly's doing a great job staying with these guys.
Looks like Aston Martin,
Even though his
have
tyres
just
are going
gained
to
the race position.
continue to drop, he's going to continue to struggle to stay with them, but the DRS is so powerful. It's keeping him in the loop, in the battle. He's going to drop more than a second behind, but there we go. Max Verstappen pits, so I think that's going to be our cue for Pierre Gasly to come in. I'm going to go onto the hard tyres this lap with Pierre. We'll see what he can do here. Let's hop on board with him. He's looking slow, but he's still not far behind the leaders here. So Pierre Gasly's going to come into the pits, so here he comes.
Yeah, in the box.
He's going to go onto hard tyres.
Okay.
Where is he going to come out? This is quite big where he comes out here. Fernando Alonso takes the lead of the Grand Prix here. Gasly looks like he's going to come out right in the middle of this massive battle. So I think we have to go light here. quite a bit behind Verstappen. But if he can stay in touch with Verstappen, because at the end of the day, Max is in this DRS train. If Gasly can stay in touch with him and look after his tyres, then that's going to give him a big advantage towards the end. Max on the hard tyres. And as I say, Alonso leading the race at the front. It's going to be overtaken again by Perez here, but it's not that bad. Is Max going to be able to make a move on any of these guys? I very much doubt it.
Red Bull gained a place.
Max Verstappen might get past Bottas here. Is he going to be able to get past the Haas? Side by side, the Haas is staying in there, but doesn't manage to make the move stick, so now Verstappen in a bit of a stronger position.
Prep ourselves for a push.
Copy.
I'm hoping Gasly can get his man here. Can he go down the inside? No, he can't. As Fernando Alonso enters his pit window now. Yeah, this is good for Pierre. Should be past the Alpine. And is. Now with DRS, can he get past
Fantastic work.
Albon? No, no luck this time.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
I think should be able to make the move pretty easily into the next DRS zone. And what we're trying to do with Fernando is prolong this stint as long as we can.
Okay, well done.
And there are yellow flags, and that is Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is off.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
And that's huge.
Seems to have been a lock-up.
And it was from Max Verstappen locking up. So now Gasly closing in on Norris. So I think we're ready to zoom on a little bit. Another yellow flag, not sure what that was for.
Oh, we've had a spin.
It was Hulkenberg. Optimal pit lap for Fernando Alonso apparently, but I think we can go a little bit further with him.
Oh, and Ferrari just gained a place.
More yellow flags out there.
Looks like there's been a lock-up.
So Perez has come back out a decent way ahead of Pierre Gasly. So Leclerc's in. Right. Now Fernando's going to have to absolutely go for it here. He's going on to the hard tyres. And let's see what he can do here. Let's hop on board with Fernando. Again, it could be a strategy disaster, this. He's away. That's Perez and Leclerc, they're going to go through. There's Perez through, but he's going to come out ahead of Leclerc and Hamilton. So Alonso comes back out in second place with fresher tyres. There goes Hamilton. He's through. It's now Pierre Gasly past Bottas.
It's a race position gained for Mercedes.
So Gasly's done a good job here.
Keep at it.
And now in a bit of clear air. Can he get himself back into the battle for the lead here? Because this is pretty good. DRS enabled. Well, this is pretty damn spicy from Pierre Gasly. This is good pace. And now Fernando Alonso. With DRS, he's going to be straight back past Hamilton here. And Pierre Gasly, I think, is going to be past Carlos Sainz. And he is now. DRS for Alonso. He's going to bring him in towards the back of Perez.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
You can see Leclerc and Hamilton side by side there. Alonso's starting to catch up on Sergio Perez. So let's have a look at the tyre situation. Gasly on better tyres than Max Verstappen at the moment. He'll certainly settle for that. A certain two-stopper for Gasly. Can Fernando Alonso possibly take these tyres to the end? It will be incredibly tight. And would he prefer the benefits of brand new soft tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix, perhaps? Maybe that's what he's thinking about. So 1.6 seconds is the gap between Alonso and race leader Sergio Perez. It's all going to be really whether that Ferrari and Hamilton can catch up enough as Carlos Sainz is back past Pierre here.
Anything can happen still.
So Alonso needing to stay ahead of Leclerc, really.
Yeah, I don't have that pace.
So I think we now need to zoom it forward. I don't think
Looks like Aston Martin have
much
just
is
gained
going
a
to
race
happen
position.
for a little bit.
Sounds like someone's locked up.
So Hulkenberg locks up again. And yeah, they're trying to slingshot their way
and
up
Ferrari
to
just
Perez
gained the
now,
place.
and that looks exactly like what's happened. So we got a four-way battle at the front. We've then got Gasly and Verstappen not far behind.
Red Bull moved up.
So Alonso up to second place now, and he's going to be having a look at Charles Leclerc, and does take the lead of this Grand Prix. But of course, with the DRS the way it is round here, it's going to be incredibly difficult to stay in front. And now,
Looked like a clean lap there as well, mate.
fastest lap of the race for Pierre Gasly.
Copy.
And it looks like him, Verstappen and Sainz are trying to slingshot their way back towards the front. So Gasly currently P5. And honestly, I think Alonso needs to harvest. Let's get him harvesting. Maybe even harvest with Gasly as well.
Red Bull gained a place.
So fully charged now.
So no need to charge the pack.
Yeah, copy, mate.
And it is just crazy, really. Gasly's managed to stay with them. So he's going to have medium tyres. 20 laps on the mediums. That's doable. Definitely doable.
Okay, recharge off when you're ready.
Copy.
So when is he going to come in? Let's try and sort out a strategy for him while all this is going on. So when do we want the mediums? Soonish. We go now. Won't be too healthy by the end of the Grand Prix. Let's say lap 40 for the medium tyres to go on. Fernando Alonso still doing a good job out there. Look how far to the left they're pushing over. Oh, Fernando, so close here. DRS enabled. Doesn't go for it. What about Pierre? Not quite. Need to make sure that we pop him onto that strategy now, so we know exactly when we need to come in. So Gasly still pushing hard here.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
Doing a really sterling job. I think now, let's attack out there. Let's get everything we can out of these tyres.
Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
And Max Verstappen is in. So, medium tyres coming on. Let's hop on board with Pierre. He's closing in on Carlos Sainz for 5th place. It's not quite going to be the case for him. Fernando Alonso leading the race. Doing a really good job. He's still about 8 laps from coming in. And here goes Pierre Gasly. He's in the pit lane now. Ahead of Carlos Sainz. Brand new pair, or set, I should say, of medium tyres.
Just gained a place.
Charles Leclerc leads this Grand Prix. And here comes out Pierre Gasly, just behind Max Verstappen. Now, will he have DRS here? No. So he's got to be a little bit careful. Cannot afford to fall behind the Alpine. Needs to try and catch up to Max Verstappen. So now's the time to deploy. Fernando Alonso still chasing after Charles Leclerc. That's interesting. You know, Alonso's tyres are as good as the other guys around him. That's whether they are going to come into the pits again. I don't know, but Fernando Alonso is going to retake the lead here. So the question is, does Fernando protect himself and start looking after those tyres? Pierre Gasly starting to close in on Max Verstappen. Go back down to neutral now. And it's amazing, isn't it? Qualified 8th yesterday, is running 7th after all of his pit stops, and we're still considering whether we've done the right thing with him. Fernando Alonso, meanwhile, has pushed on a little bit here. All of a sudden. And somebody's locked up out there. No idea who.
Up.
Antonio Giovinazzi is the one. So I think Fernando, let's get him protecting his tyres a little bit. Let's get him doing that, because that's going to help Pierre Gasly in this race as well. If we can hold up these guys a little bit. Start looking after the tyres. And who knows what can happen. As we meanwhile maintaining the gap to Verstappen. Let's deploy a little bit here. Let's try and close in on him. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso side by side. Let's deploy with Fernando a little bit here. He's going to have DRS on Leclerc. If he can get more than a second in front, he can start
Aston Martin with a great play there.
to think about race victory here. He picked the perfect time. Start going for it. Pierre Gasly, meanwhile,
I'll let you know if the situation changes.
has now put in the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah.
Closing in nicely on Max Verstappen. And is going to have DRS very, very shortly. Tyre-wise, 1% separates them. So more than a second now in front of the chasing pack, meaning they're not going to get DRS on him. As Daniel Ricciardo has put in the fastest lap of the race. Where on earth has that come from? On those medium tyres. Very, very good from him. It looks like Fernando may well take it off them though. 120.7 is what Ricciardo put in. What about Fernando Alonso? What can he manage? A 20.8, so no. Ricciardo still fastest out there. What are we looking at interval wise? Still about 1.2. Ahead of Charles Leclerc.
last lap
Pierre
was a double
Gasly
lap.
now puts in the fastest lap of the race. A 1:20.2, that is an awesome lap, and he is past
Fantastic work.
Max Verstappen again.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
And this is intense. Fernando just trying to give himself enough of a cushion here. A little neutral now. So 2 laps where he's pushed it heavy. He's broken the back of the gap behind him. Now it's a question of how much can Lewis Hamilton bring back here this gap.
Simply lovely.
Uh, 1.2 seconds a gap. He's had a good few laps out in front, hasn't he? But the Ferraris just seem to be looking after their tyres a little bit better. 20 seconds separates us to Gasly now. It's going to be an interesting question of whether Fernando Alonso can stay out there on these hard tyres till the end of the race. Perez now within a second. So Alonso's going to end up back in this battle, so we might as well zoom it forward.
Red Bull moved up. I think there's been a lock-up.
I don't think Alonso,
Aston
I
Martin
don't
with
think
a
it's
great
worth
play there. They've moved up a place.
him coming in now. Gasly only
Red Bull
14
gained
seconds
the place.
behind. But I don't think it's going to be quite enough. Gasly now past Verstappen again. And now behind Carlos Sainz. And we got to stay out there with Fernando, otherwise, because he's only got what, 6 laps to go after this one. It's not going to be enough to really close in that gap with the soft tyres. So here we go then. Here goes Pierre Gasly. And he's going to have a look round the outside now, Pierre. And he is through on Carlos Sainz.
Come on, mate.
Now, what can Fernando Alonso do? Can we get him harvested?
And just charge the pack.
Copy.
Ready for the final few laps of this race. Meanwhile, Gasly about to come past Hulkenberg here with Verstappen. How close is this going to be? Trying our best to get a full tank of ERS going here for Fernando. There's 3 laps to go after this one. I think let's try and get Gasly harvested up as well.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
Fernando Alonso leading the way here. And I think it's time to head on board with Fernando.
And recharge off when you're ready.
Okay.
Gasly only 7 seconds behind.
2 laps remaining.
And there goes Sergio Perez. And now we're going to deploy. So here we go. 2 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Can Fernando Alonso get this? Can he do it? We'll have to wait an extra lap for Pierre, I believe. We are going to attack. As Verstappen seems to have gone on one here. And I think we now need to deploy. Yeah, don't overtake him just yet. Because we want to do it on the last lap of the Grand Prix. So here we go, Fernando Alonso onto the final lap of this race. He has took these tyres so much further than we ever expected. Look at how well he's looked after them, and here we go.
You can do this.
Fernando Alonso now
Okay.
in onto the final lap of the Grand Prix, and he has taken the lead. Fernando Alonso now leads the Australian Grand Prix. What about Gasly? Can Gasly make the move
Aston Martin with
on
a
Max
great
Verstappen?
play
He's
there.
going to have
He moves up a
DRS here.
place.
It's going to be a chance. As we go into turn 4, Pierre Gasly goes round the outside of Max Verstappen. Oh, this is close, and look who's up ahead. Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc not too far up ahead here. And their tyres are going to be really struggling as well. Hamilton's go below 30%. Fernando Alonso, look how far he is now ahead of Sergio Perez. I think Alonso has got it in the bag. He's kept the tyres beautifully in this Grand Prix. Can he now go and get fastest lap? Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly chasing after Lewis Hamilton. He is going to have DRS here. Wow. He hasn't got any ERS left, but he has got DRS. And he might have a final lunge. It's Fernando Alonso coming around the final couple of corners. Last chance saloon really for Pierre Gasly, unless he can do something special on the run down to the line. Fernando Alonso wins the Australian Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly's going to have a look at Lewis Hamilton. This is going to be so close, but he doesn't manage it. P5 for Pierre Gasly. We will settle for that. And Fernando Alonso has won the race. That was absolutely brilliant from him, and he absolutely aced the final lap of the Grand Prix. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That was just simply brilliant from Fernando Alonso on the final lap. And Pierre Gasly gets the fastest lap of the race at the end there as well. Wow, one more lap. And I think Pierre would have had P3.
Looked like a clean lap there as well, mate.
That was very, very nice. Another fastest lap, but victory for Fernando Alonso, who managed to make the one-stop work. He looked after those soft tyres, those medium tyres a little bit at the start of the race, took them longer than anybody else, reaped the rewards at the end there. And what a race. Unlucky for Daniel Ricciardo not to score points today. He's been pretty quick in that Alfa Romeo. It's a shame that he couldn't show his pace. But yeah, what a brilliant race for Fernando Alonso to pick up his second victory of the season, the world champion, showing why he's exactly that. And he'll be looking to make it for this year.
Weekend here from Fernando Alonso. His team must be proud. Imagine how chuffed they must be. A podium is a real feat, and it's been accomplished in style. And the talented veteran rounds off another great drive, adding to his impressive F1 podium tally. You've got to say it was a solid drive from all three of them up there. A fantastic showcase for Formula One. Aston Martin having an extremely good day at the track.
I couldn't agree more. It just shows what this team can do when all the pistons are firing.
After an intense weekend, the team ends in first place in the constructor standings.
Now the teams will be looking ahead to Imola, where the season progresses with the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Get ready for some fierce competition.
Well, there you go. Fabulous Grand Prix in the end. Fernando Alonso wins it ahead of Sergio Perez in second. Charles Leclerc finishes third for Ferrari ahead of Lewis Hamilton in fourth. As you can see, 4 different cars in the top 4 there. Pierre Gasly finishes in fifth with Red Bull and Max Verstappen finishing only 6th today. Carlos Sainz finishes 7th ahead of George Russell in 8th, Magnussen 9th, and Sebastian Vettel in P10. No non-finishers today, and the only driver to be lapped was Nico Hülkenberg. Into the driver's standings then, Fernando Alonso takes an early advantage of 16 points ahead of Max Verstappen, who is a point ahead of Pierre Gasly and Charles Leclerc in P3 and P4. Carlos Sainz rounds out the top 5, but it is going to be pretty close at the top this season, you feel. And into the constructors, we are still leading the way by 20 points over Ferrari, 10 points ahead of Red Bull they are, and Mercedes now comfortably in 4th place. All but 3 teams have managed to get on the score sheet. Development point wise, there's one for Pierre Gasly, there is one for Fernando Alonso, and none for Oscar Piastri this time. But wow, what a Grand Prix. 3.9 million profit in the bank. And yes. That I mean, all 3 races have been fabulous and really dramatic down to the last lap every single time. So it is honestly a real pleasure to be bringing this to you so far. I know we're still at the top and some people still think that's unrealistic. That might be, but this is absolutely cracking racing. You cannot be denying that. Whether we're in the skin of an Aston Martin, a Mercedes, a McLaren, surely that's all that matters for our entertainment this season. 3 fantastic races, and I'm sure that's going to continue going on into Imola. Strategy is still a massive question mark, and you know, we adapted to a one-stop strategy with Alonso today. I'm really happy we didn't come into the pits and go for that extra soft tyre run, because it wouldn't have happened in the end. But I could just tell the other teams weren't going to pit. But let's have a little look. Congratulations from Patrick Stafford. Zane Maloney looking like an up-and-coming driver. We have some minor technical regulation changes for next season, and that is very much minor, so I don't think there's going to be any point really. So we could go for moderate, which would be everything basically going down 10%, but Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think we'll vote moderate. Because I'd like to mix it up, really. I think that's what we'd like to look at. But yeah, that's where we're going to leave it for today's episode. If you have enjoyed that, then give it a massive thumbs up down below. Subscribe for plenty more F1 Manager content. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.